Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining me again this morning on Next on the Tee. I'm your host, Chris Mascaro, and today I have the absolute privilege of talking with Christina Stockton. Christina was a 4-year All-West Coast Conference player at the University of San Francisco. She has competed on the LPGA Symetra Tour, the Canadian Tour, and the Cactus Tour. Plus, she also competed on the Golf Channel's Big Break Atlantis a couple of years ago, and I'm very excited to have her join me this morning. And we're going to get to her in just a moment. But before we do, we want to get started by kicking off the show like we do every week by saluting the brave men and women serving in our military. Thank you. Thank you for your daily sacrifices and all you do to keep the rest of us safe. We also want to thank those of you who serve or have served in every branch of the military and public service. We truly appreciate what you do to preserve our freedoms and our liberties. It's through your strength and your efforts that our way of life is even possible. Our sincere thanks as well to Sean Cruz and all the wonderful folks at the Armed Forces Radio Network. It's an honor for us to be a part of what you're doing. You can find our show by going to armedforcesradionetwork.org. We also want to thank everyone listening in on iHeartRadio, as well as great radio sites across the internet like Spreaker, Stitcher, TuneIn, Player.fm, and Blog Talk Radio. I also want to give a special shout-out to our good friends Mike Kovacs, Ben Kerr, and Mark Medeski, and the rest of the great staff over at LastWordOnSports.com. Check those guys out online and on Twitter. Their site is absolutely fantastic and contains great content across every sport. Their staff of writers are wonderful. You're going to love going to their site every day for your sports news. If you haven't been there yet, go check it out and then bookmark it. Again, LastWordOnSports.com. Plus, if someone's dragging you around the mall or the grocery store, or you're just tired of the same old on your commute, download the Player.fm or Stitcher app on your smartphone and take us with you. Let us give you something fun to focus on while you're out and about. Our show is brought to you by the great folks over at Kyvan Foods. Former Bengals and Falcons tight end Reggie Kelly has created a wonderful array of products. His salsas, sauces, and spices, all natural, and they're fantastic. They're going to liven up every meal or every recipe that you have. So wow your friends at your next tailgate or your house party, as we got the holidays coming up, by adding Kyvan products to everything you're going to put out there on your menu. You can check those folks out online at Kyvan82.com. That's Kyvan, Kyvan, the number 82.com. All right, now joining me on the Kyvan Foods guest line is Christina Stockton. Let me give you some more background on Christina. She's from Rockland, California. She started playing golf at age 5. She attended Forest Lake Christian School for high school in Auburn, California, and played on the boys' team for 2 years. She won the Sacramento City Championship 3 years in a row. She also won the Sacramento County Championship and took third in the California State Women's Amateur Championship. She attended the University of San Francisco and was a 4-time All-West Coast Conference player and finished in the top 10 in 14 collegiate tournaments. She competed in the 2008 U.S. Women Amateur Championship, finishing tied for 89th. And in 2009, she was selected as an NCAA All-Star. She turned pro in November of 2010 and has competed on the LPGA Symetra Tour, the Canadian Tour, and Cactus Tour. Christina was also a participant on the Golf Channel's Big Break Atlantis, where she made it all the way to the Final Four. And if you're not following her on Twitter, at Christina Golfs, you're missing out on a lot of entertaining material. And we are so thrilled to have her as part of the show this morning. Good morning, Christina. Thanks for being on Next on the Tee with me.
Good morning, Chris. Thank you so much for having me.
So, Christina, a couple of weeks ago you tweeted out, "I'm in church tonight and Steven Tyler walks in." What was that like?
It was pretty cool. It was not expected, and it was kind of fun. It happens quite often living in LA, and when you go to church Wednesday night in Beverly Hills at a fancy hotel, you see that quite often. So, but I definitely wasn't expecting him to be there. Judah Smith is an incredible speaker, and he has a big following. Him and Bubba Watson are actually very, very close friends. He'll go on tour sometimes with the guys and do Bible studies out there. I know him and Ricky Fowler are friends, so he has quite a following in the golf world as well.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, Chrstina, as I mentioned at the top, you started playing golf at age 5. Now, I read that your mom played on the Japanese LPGA Tour and your dad played in college. So was there any doubt you were going to be a golfer growing up?
I don't think there was any doubt. You know, they didn't force me to play, but we did grow up on the 14th hole of a country club, so we had direct access. And I was just always at the course. My mom, after she stopped touring, she started teaching golf, so I was just always at the golf course. And, you know, people like what they're good at, and I was just good at it. I did a lot of other sports, but I liked golf because I was good at it, and I kept doing it. So I don't think there is any doubt. I have a younger sister and a younger brother that play as well, so it's definitely a family affair.
Yeah. And I read you played golf on the boys' team in high school. Were the boys supportive of that, or were they a little put off having a girl on the team?
At first, they were a little put off. I played my freshman year, and then after freshman year, I decided not to play because a lot of the seniors that were really good graduated, and then the team wasn't very good, and I realized I was traveling a lot on the AJGA tour, junior tour, and I didn't have time to play on the team. So I skipped my sophomore and junior year, and then my brother played on the team my senior year, and then that's when I went back because I wanted to play with him. But at first they were a lot apprehensive, but they liked it. They liked having a girl on the team.
You had a fair amount of success as a young player, and I have to imagine that there were several colleges vying for your services. Why the University of San Francisco?
You know, I grew up in a small school system, and when I was going on my visits to colleges, I went everywhere. I went to TCU, I went to University of Oregon, I went all over the place, and I'm very close to my family. I realized I wanted to be in the same state as them. I didn't want to lose touch with them. I loved the city, absolutely loved the city. In high school, we didn't have a football team, so I wasn't really used to going to football games, and that wasn't really a part of my requirements because that wasn't something I experienced. So I didn't really mind there wasn't a football team. I loved the city. There was a lot of life outside of campus. Our home club was the Olympic Club, which is a huge plus. The coach was incredible, and it's a solid school. It's a great business school. We played in top tournaments, and alumni support's incredible there.
So you mentioned the Olympic Club, but that had to be a great. I mean, you're practicing at the Olympic Club every day, right? I mean, how great is that?
Yeah. It was incredible. I mean, we definitely got spoiled. I got extremely spoiled. I mean, that course is incredible. We played the ocean side, and then we got to play the lake side, and then they have that sweet little par 3 course right on the water there that I could play all day long. I mean, that course, it's such a treat. It was such a treat to be able to be there every day in college.
Yeah.
It was cold.
Now,
it was cold every now and then, but.
Is that right?
Yeah,
the coldest winter, the coldest I ever was the summer I spent in San Francisco.
That's what they say. That is what they say.
You competed in the 2008 U.S. Women's Amateur Championship, and that was up at the Eugene Country Club in Eugene, Oregon. What was that experience like for you?
That was pretty incredible. You know, I qualified. I think I shot 2 under to qualify. My mom was on the bag caddying for me. And it was a really big deal. I didn't really, it was a competitive qualifying site. I wasn't really expecting much, and I made it. And getting there, I mean, it's pretty amazing, that event. It feels special. It feels prestigious. You feel the pressure. You have a lot of great players there, a lot of girls that you play college golf with and that you see in junior golf. And it's a great experience. I mean, it's a really class act event. Match play is a very different game. I hadn't been that used to playing match play, a little bit, but it's definitely a different mind game. You definitely have to switch over playing match play versus stroke play. I didn't do as well as I wanted to over there, but I had some good rounds, and the experience and taking that away really meant the most, just getting that experience playing at women's amateur.
As I mentioned at the top, Chrstina, you also had the opportunity to be a part of the Golf Channel's Big Break Atlantis. How did that opportunity come about?
Well, I graduated from college, and I was thinking, okay, do I use my degree and get a real job, or do I turn pro and play tour golf? And my family was leaving it up to me, and as I was debating, I always had friends say, you got to try for Big Break. You got to try. And so finally I thought, hey, what the heck? I'll try. So I applied, and they said to come out to, you apply online, and then they said to come out for an audition in Arizona. And so I flew out there, and it's literally a 5-minute audition. You hit 6 golf balls in front of them, and about a 4-minute interview, and then you just pray after that. And you wait a few months to hear, and sometimes you hear back and sometimes you don't. And I heard back, and I made it. And that was the first time I tried, and I was so ecstatic, and it really, really kicked off my professional career. It was a really big deal for me to have that, and the experience that I took away, I've never felt so much pressure in my life on that show. My hands have not, only once in my life can I say my hands have physically shaken during a golf shot, and that was in one of my elimination rounds against Selene Henderson and Anya Alvarez, and I didn't get eliminated, but I was so nervous. Those two girls are very good players, and my hands were physically shaking, and I was just in shock. I was looking at my hands. I was like, I can't believe this is happening to me. But the show really helped kick off my professional career, so I'm very thankful to Big Break and the Golf Channel for that.
Yeah. So, getting back to, your audition, 5 minutes, 6 golf balls. What 6 shots did they make you hit?
It's funny. When I got there, I flew in just for the day to audition, and my clubs, I flew in, and my audition was about 2 hours after I flew in, and my clubs never came, and my golf shoes were in there. So I had to go to my audition time without my golf clubs and without my golf shoes, and I think I was wearing ballet flats. And I show up, and I had to ask the country club they were at. I had to ask the bag boy for golf clubs and he assumed I'm a woman, so he gave me women's regular flex clubs, which for a professional, even though I'm 105 pounds, I still hit men's regular golf clubs. So the clubs were so whippy and flexible on me. They asked me to hit these 6 golf balls, and I'm pretty sure I went duck hook, duck hook, duck hook. So I really had to play with it and swing a little differently with the women's flex club. But I told them, I said, my golf clubs didn't come. These are not my clubs. And I do own golf shoes, but these are my ballet flats. They're red patent ballet flats. And you know what they told me? They said, you stuck out because of your red patent ballet flats. We remembered you because of those flats. So that was pretty cool. I actually think it worked out. Everything happened for a reason.
So you made it all the way to the Final Four, right? And you faced elimination a couple of times along the way. So you talked about pressure a minute ago, but how did you steady your nerves? And if your hands are shaking out there, how do you calm yourself down? Because you can't hit a golf shot, you can't hit a good golf shot when your hands are shaking. How did you get through it?
The way you get through it, every good tour player has a very, very solid, repeatable routine. And you have to go with your routine every single time. And if you can stick to your routine, then you should be able to pull off a decent golf shot when you're that nervous. Decent. I mean, I just wanted to make contact. I honestly didn't know if I was going to even make contact. So I just stuck to my routine. You do everything the same, no matter what situation. So in my mind, you also have to pretend like you don't care. I mean, I went as far as to think, how lucky am I? I am standing here about to hit a golf shot. I'm on this great television show. I'm in the beautiful Bahamas. And you just kind of have to take a step back and really just pretend like you don't care. And this is just a small part of life. and you feel like this is your whole world at the time, and really there's a lot more going on outside of this little golf shot. It's a lot more important. And honestly, that's really what I had to keep telling myself almost the entire show. But golf-wise, to pull off a good golf shot like that, you just have to stick to a routine, and that's why it's really important for players. Amateurs don't realize how important it is to have a good routine, to do the same thing every single time, no matter what. So that's what I did.
Was it fun, or was it more nerve-wracking? Because we had Carling Nolan on the show a couple of months ago, and Carling kind of went through the same experience. But it's sort of compressed, right? I mean, you're there, you're filming, you're doing photo shoots, you got all kinds of activities going on, and then in the blink of an eye, it's over. But is it nerve-wracking, or was it fun?
It was a blast. It was so much fun. I would do it all over again. It is nerve-wracking, but then you have fun. It's fun and nerve-wracking at the same time. Who knew that you could be nervous and having fun at the same time? But you can. It's possible. The big break makes it possible. No, it was a blast. It's just fun. If you're a player and you love competition and you're there to competing and being under, that's what you want. You crave those pressure situations. You crave for your game to be tested under those situations. So that is the fun part. Even though you could be off the show that day, it's fun. It's a game. It's literally a game show, and it's so fun. It was a blast. They really do. They do a phenomenal job. It's great.
I read on your blog that one of your coaches is Dave Stockton Jr. We were talking off air. You guys aren't related. Got the same last name, not related. But what's it like, having a coach like Dave Stockton Jr. and his father, Dave Stockton Sr.?
Those two, they're a dream. I started seeing them May of 2010, and ever since my first lesson, they're like the putting gods.
Right.
It's every time I see them, it's quick, it's on point, it makes sense, and it works. It works immediately. If you're going to a teacher and if you're not seeing results during the lesson, if you at least a few shots during the lesson of it working, that's a bad sign. If you're going to a good teacher, you should see results immediately. And with them, that's what you get. So they're in the desert. Every now and then they'll come up to LA and they travel with players, and they're on the PGA Tour a lot. They're on the LPGA Tour a lot. They have an incredible following, but they just have an incredible philosophy on the putting game. They don't believe in practice strokes. They believe in reacting to what you see. And the less time you have over the ball, the better. The less time you have to think negative thoughts. So they're on point. They definitely, their philosophy is definitely one to look into if you have not yet.
No practice strokes, really?
No practice strokes, really. No practice strokes. And one other tip I'll give you is that when you're set up over the ball and you are about to take the putter head back and through, they want you to look an inch in front of the ball when you putt. So you don't actually look at the ball when you're putting. You're looking at a spot or an inch in front of it. And that way, when you're putting through, it's very easy. People putt at the ball. And you want to putt through it. So when you're looking in front of it, it helps you putt through it, which provides you with a smoother stroke and hopefully more down the line. And that has done amazing things for me on the putting green. I had worked a lot with him, Dave Stockton Jr., before going on Big Break, and I had the most phenomenal 2 weeks of putting in my life. I was almost laughing because I putted so well. It was so much fun.
And I had read, and I don't know where this fits in the sequence of time, Chrstina, but I had read that you had always said that the strength of your game was putting. Was that sort of automatic? It came out of the box, and this just made it that much better? Or did you become a great putter after starting to work with him?
I was always a great putter in junior golf and college golf. I was a very good putter, but I think that was intuition, and, you know, when you're young, you will the ball into the hole. You really have to. But when I started seeing Stockton Jr., it really just refined everything, and it just cleaned everything up. I had a good base, but it just made me that much better.
So I think this is the part of the show where you're going to make me feel badly about myself. You mentioned that you weigh 105 pounds. How far are you driving it off the tee?
I'm driving it about 250 yards.
Yeah, see, of course you are. Don't be silly. That's amazing. 105 pounds, you're driving at 250. How do you generate that kind of distance with that stature?
Well, TaylorMade helps me out a lot. So I go down to the Kingdom twice a year, and they get me dialed in. I do work out, and I know that's a song, but I do work out. And I have to lift weights. I don't want to be skinny fat, right? So I work hard to not be skinny fat and lift weights. It's all about the core, really core and legs. And it's also positions and timing. You know, if my timing gets off, then I lose distance. So a big part of my golf swing is timing and distance. So I do work hard at it. I've always hit it a little bit longer than normal and for my size is expected. In college, some of my teammates were, 6 feet tall, and I would outdrive them. They just looked at me and wanted to kill me. So I don't.
But they did.
Yeah, absolutely. It drives people crazy. But it's fun. Distance definitely helps. But there are definitely girls that hit it a lot longer than me. Sometimes when it's longer, it goes more sideways. So I prefer to be a little bit in the middle and straighter.
Sure.
So I feel happy with the distance I'm hitting. On tour, it's good enough. And sometimes I'm able to reach par 5s and 2s. Sometimes I have a 3-wood in my hand, and Ryan O'Toole might have a sand wedge, but that's okay.
When you're out there, and I'm sure you've played tons of pro-ams and playing with guys. When you step up there, at your size, and you're out driving guys in the pro-ams, what do they say to you, and what do you say back to them?
Some of them won't. It depends on their attitude towards golf. Some of them right away will just be impressed and wow, and that's amazing, and how do you hit it so far, and it's going to be a long day, and I get some of those. And then some of the guys won't say anything for a while. They'll just kind of try it out, keep trying to outdrive me. And then after about 9 holes, they finally break down, and they'll make little comments like, "Oh, I almost got you here," or "She outdrove me again," and then it kind of breaks the ice. But it depends. Usually everyone is super funny and fun about it.
That's good. Beyond your parents, who have been some of your golf idols along the way? People that took you under their wing when you started to play on the pro tours.
Gosh, let's see. Yeah, my parents are a big one. Dave Stockton Jr. is a huge one. They took me when I wasn't yet on tour, and that was a big deal for me. I didn't have much of a tour resume to present to them, but they saw something in me, so that was very much appreciated and inspired me as well. I have a coach. I see my swing coach in Dove Canyon, Russell Silty, and he's really been there for me for my golf swing. Also another swing coach in the Bay Area, Dave Atchison, in Sunnyvale, and I saw him a lot when I was attending University of San Francisco. He took me under, great with the mechanics. Let's see, who else? When I was younger, my mom was actually taught by Johnny Miller's father, Larry Miller. And when I was playing junior golf, Larry kind of took me in, and he would, we'd go down to Napa, and he would give me lessons, and He wrote so many positive letters, and I hope my mom submits them for a book someday. But the letters he wrote about the golf game and about the mental game, so impactful, so positive. I just remember one of my clearest memories of him was me playing, and Johnny Miller used to host a junior golf tournament at Chardonnay and Silverado. And Larry would come out. I got to play in it at the time because I knew them. You did have to qualify, but I got to play. And I just remember there was one hole, and I hit my ball in the water, and I was so mad. And I look over, and I hear someone clapping, and it was Larry Miller sitting in the golf cart with my mom, clapping and smiling. And I was like, why is he clapping? I just hit my ball in the water. And he said he did that every time, every shot. He said that was a great swing. You're getting better. He said you always smile. If you hit the shot you don't like, you don't call it a bad shot. He never liked calling the shots bad. If you hit a shot you don't like, clench your teeth in the back. Your back teeth, just clench them, and it kind of makes you turn into a smile. He said if you don't feel like smiling, clench your teeth, and it will make you smile, and you'll feel silly, and you'll smile, and it will change your hormones, it will change everything out there, and it's such a big deal when you're playing. And I learned that from a very, very young age, that you have to have a good attitude, and you have to let things go. So a lot of people, there are a lot of people in my life that have contributed. It's amazing. It takes a whole team of people to really make something happen to play on tour. It's hard. It's a hard game. You definitely need a team of people to help you out.
So you mentioned, needing a team of people, and you've talked about the Stocktons and how much influence they've had, particularly, in your putting game. But players have swing coaches and psychologists, and all kind of an entourage of folks, trying to help them along the way. Do you have a swing coach, and do you have somebody that is kind of in your ear to talk you through whether it's the pressure or the strategy or that sort of thing?
Yeah, I do have a swing coach. When I'm in Southern California, I see Russell Silty at Dove Canyon. And then when I'm up in the Bay Area, I'll check in with Dave Atchison. Dave Stockton Jr. has been a big influence in helping with on-course management. So how you mentally set up to a hole, how you view a hole, how you're going to see the shot. So he's helped me a lot with that, with course management as well. But it is important to have that base. You need to have those fundamentals. So I definitely have a team of people. I have people I can call for every aspect of my game. As far as the mental game, I grew up reading a lot of mental golf books, and I still do. And honestly, I've been to a mental golf coach, and a lot of them have wrote books. And honestly, everything that they tell you in person is what you're going to read in the book. So if you don't have the money, the resources to go see a mental golf coach, I highly recommend getting their book. It's honestly in there. And after seeing a mental golf coach a few times, I preferred reading 10 different golf mental books by 10 different therapists, psychologists. Because you get to take a piece sometimes you don't agree with or it doesn't work for you. And you grow out of philosophies. You grow out of theories. So maybe what worked for me a year ago isn't going to work for me today. So right. I really am a big advocate of reading. So.
Okay. And speaking of reading, I read a while back that people have asked you all the time, who's your dream foursome, that sort of thing, and you had responded by saying, boy, that sort of changes all the time, but the last one, at least the last one I could find, had you, I'll settle on 5, Tiger Woods, Will Ferrell, Annika Sorenstam, and Adam Scott. Still the case?
Pretty close, yeah. I'd say it's pretty close. Still the case. I think I might throw in one of the greats now. I would love to play with Gary Player. I love to play with Nicklaus. I think as you get older, you appreciate the greats maybe a little more. It's always fun to watch them, but as you get older, you definitely do, and you start to miss seeing them, you start to miss hearing them. So I think it would be pretty special to be able to play with one of the greats, throw one of them in there. But there's a lot of fun people, fun golfers out there. It's great. The game, both on the men and the women's side, they're getting a lot more characters, which is what the sport needs. So it's fun.
Yeah. Is Adam Scott aware? Because if he were, I got to believe he's saying where and when.
I don't know. I would hope he doesn't know, because I would hope that would be the case. if you know him, go ahead. Feel free to reach out anytime.
Have you had the opportunity to meet or talk with Annika?
You know, I had the opportunity to meet her. We would every now and then go out in college and play at Meadow Club, which is a beautiful, beautiful Alistair McKenzie designed golf course.
Yeah.
And she was out there doing a corporate event, and we were out there, and we got to say hi to her and meet her, and she was so kind. And the last thing she wanted to do was probably talk to us after she just did a 5-hour corporate event, but she was extremely gracious to talk to us, asked us how we're all doing, and it was pretty cool. It was 15 minutes. It seemed like an hour because it was awesome. But that's the one time I was able to meet her, and I still feel really lucky to have met her.
That's great. You spent some time out on the Symetra Tour, which is the LPGA's version of the nationwide tour. What's your status on that tour and your plans for 2015?
Yeah, so right now, it is off season right now, so I'm going to spend some time with friends and family, which you don't get to see much when you're on tour, and work on the game. But I'm going to play partial time on the Symetra Tour, and then full time on the Canadian tour. They do a great job with events, and I love traveling in Canada. Play on the Cactus Tour, which is a great tour in Arizona that's growing a lot. A lot of girls with LPGA status will go there and play there in the beginning of the season to get ready for their season on tour. The Suncoast Tour in Florida is great. Definitely will go back there and play in Florida, and then try to play in as many Monday qualifiers as possible, and hopefully get an LPGA event in there. So it's gonna be busy, but I'm very excited for it. No,
we're rooting hard for you, Chrstina. How can our listeners follow you both online and over social media?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am on Twitter, and it's at Chrstina Golf with an S at the end. And then I do have an Instagram account, and that is just my full name, Christina Stockton, and I try to post and keep everyone in the know of what I'm up to. So, would love to have people follow and share, and it's a lot of fun.
That's great. Chrstina, thank you so much for joining me this morning. You're fantastic. I hope you'll come back and do it again sometime. We'd love to keep up with how things are going for you, and what progression you're making on tour, and that sort of thing, because you're a wonderful person, and you've been a great guest, and I can't thank you enough for getting up early out in California.
Absolutely.
You might have beat the sun up out there, but I appreciate it very much.
No worries. I'm about to go do a donut run, so no worries at all. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day, and all the best to you and your family.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Take care.
You too.
Okay.
Christina Stockton, what a great guest she was. Fantastic. Hopefully she has a wonderful season on the Symetra Tour and Canadian Tour, Cactus Tour. Be very interested to follow her as we get into the 2015 golf season, but what a great young lady she was. All right, before we close up shop, I want to let you know about a great new book that's out there. It's called A Golden 18, written by Roger Schiffman, and the photography is by one of our friends and one of the great photographers anywhere on the planet, Jim Mandeville. Jim, I'm sure you know, is the director of photography at the Nicklaus Companies. The book showcases some of Mr. Nicklaus's greatest course designs. The stories and the courses are great, and the photography is simply outstanding. In fact, it's so good you're going to want to buy a second copy of the book so you can take some of the pictures out and frame them. To get your copy, go to nicklaus.com and hover over the Partners and Products tab that you're going to see in the upper right-hand corner, and then click on the Books and Videos. If you love golf and, moreover, stunning photography, you're going to love this book. All right, everybody, it's time for us to put a bow on this one. My sincere thanks once again to Christina Stockton for being such a great guest and getting up early with me this morning, and I thank you for tuning in. You know we appreciate you the most. Please also check out our sister show, Thursday Night Tailgate, with me and my co-host Bob Lazzari, our announcer Joe Lajanusa. That show airs live every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find it on Blog Talk Radio on the Armed Forces Radio Network. You can also find it rebroadcast on Friday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time with our friends over at the Boost Radio Network. We're joined every week by legends from around the NFL and the Canadian Football League, and now the new FXFL, the new developmental league that the league is working with. So please check us out. Check both shows out on Facebook and give us a like. You know that's important to us too. You can find us online at nextonthet.net for this show and ThursdayNightTailgate.com. You can stream or download any of our archive episodes for free and keep up to date with who our future guests are going to be. Thanks again for choosing to listen to the show this morning. I appreciate you very much. Until next week, hit 'em straight, my friends.